on the docks. When I first come here, I live on Partridge Street. And boy, when I first come to England, cool. I said, God Almighty, what kind of country is this? No heat, everywhere smoggy because of the factory. You could walk out of one job and get into another job. Easy then though. In those days, I was a strong man. Just come from the West Indies. I was a young buck, you know, young buck. Pretty. And my clothes, Jesus. When I put on my clothes on Friday, all heads turn, you know. Anyway, I wanted the top room. So she gave me the top room. Because you see, with the top room, you can see everything. A lady called Miss Wilma. About 2 years she come before me, you know. I arrived in 1955. Anyway, I was working on the docks at the time. We decided we don't have to work in any factory. There was everyone working on the docks, you know. You have the Yugoslavian man, the Czechoslovakian man, the Italian man, the Irish man, and of course, the Jamaican. There were some small island people as well. Some boys from Trinidad and some from Barbados. But most of the men who come over with me, they worked in the factories or on the buses or even on the train. But when I first come, you know, even though the climate was cool, certain people was colder. Not everybody was in agreement to the fact that we did come. You know something? I believe the GI man them get a better reception than we did. But it was alright. Because a little bit of Jamaican technique and style and pattern, that was what we did to win them over. Anyway, let me tell you about work. Working on the docks was good, man. The docks was a vibrant place. All kind of people. I used to work where you unload the boat them. One day in particular, there was this boat coming from Jamaica. And I'd been over here for about 2 years. I reached over and I pulled one of the boxes over. And the box dropped and broke open. And I said, oh my God, Jesus Christ, look at this. Cream banana planted. Oh, jeez. I said, no, I have to take this home. So I take my bag and I put couple in the bag and I pulled the string. I said, yes, you know something? I can't wait to get to home, boy. I need some dumpling, some flour with this, boy. Because you see, when you go home and you start to knead the dumpling and you roll it in your finger and you rub it, you know, just like you're dealing with your woman. Not too firm, you know. Them that know what I'm talking about, know what I'm talking about. So I make my way to my locker and I put this something right in the back of my locker. And I shut back my locker and I look around and just as I was shutting the locker, guess who come in? My friend Frankie. Now Frankie was an Irishman. What you doing there, mate? What you doing? I said, nothing to do with you. I just checking my locker. Well, you don't normally check your locker. What you checking your locker for? Have you stashed something in there, mate? I said, look, it is nothing to do with you. Leave me alone. Come out of my business. Anyway, he said, I'm going to report you. I said, what? He said, I'm going to report you. I know you're up to something. I said, look, if you want to keep this friendship strong, don't mess about with my business. I never knew Frankie was a lock picker. I leave the locker and go back to my job. And around 2 o'clock, I could see Frankie down the line. And him said to me, you think you were bloody smart, didn't you? But I'm bloody smarter than you, he said. I've looked in your locker. You go in my locker and look in my locker? I won't divulge the contents of your locker. Only suffice to say that things like that won't be going on my watch. So I said, what are you going to do? I'll do a deal with you. You know, next week, we've got a case of Jamaica white rum coming in. As you're so good at stashing things, I want you to stash me a couple of bottles of that white rum in my locker. I said, I can't do that because if I do that and I get caught, he said, don't you worry about that, lad. You won't be getting caught. I'll make bloody sure of that. So the following week, I had to stash a couple of bottles of white rum in his locker. But he don't know that I stashed a couple of bottles of white rum in my locker as well. And as I say, on the docks, there was always tit for tat and tat for tit. You know something, I really miss the docks, you know. I really miss the docks.